Life has a strange way of teaching us lessons, but often only when we're finally ready to understand them. Most people don't grasp these simple truths in their youth, but only after years of mistakes, disappointments, and unnecessary suffering. Yet, these truths were always there, just waiting for us to notice them. All we had to do was pause, reflect, and look within. First, people learn too late that most of our fears never actually happen. We spend days worrying, or nights lost to overthinking, imagining every possible disaster. But life rarely unfolds as darkly as our mind paints it. Fear traps you inside your imagination, while life continues just outside your door. It's time to stop fighting shadows that only exist in your thoughts. Second, we learn too late that anger only punishes the person who feels it. We think anger is power, but it's really just a chain around our own mind. The moment you react with anger, you hand control of your emotions over to the world. Nothing is worth losing your inner balance for. Your peace is your strength. Protect it. Third, most people learn too late that time is far more valuable than money. We chase success, status, and possessions, but when time is gone, nothing can buy it back. You can always rebuild wealth, but you can never rebuild lost years. Spend your time on what actually matters: growth, relationships, purpose, and self-mastery, not meaningless comparison or chasing approval. Fourth, many discover too late that worrying about what other people think is a lifetime prison. You can't live freely if you're constantly seeking validation from others. The truth is, people will judge you no matter what you do. So, why not live by your own values instead of by their opinions? Fifth, a lot of us learn too late that happiness is simple. We lose our peace by chasing things we never really needed in the first place. A quiet mind, simple habits, a grateful heart, a few meaningful connections, that is already enough. Don't complicate what was always meant to be peaceful. Sixth, people realize too late that the world doesn't owe them anything. No one is responsible for your success, your happiness, or your growth. Waiting for others to save you only delays your own progress. Self-reliance isn't a cold concept, it is the ultimate freedom. Seventh, most people learn too late that holding grudges only keeps them stuck in the past. You think you're punishing someone else, but you're only trapping yourself in old pain. Forgiveness isn't about them, it's about your choice to stop suffering twice over the same wound. And finally, the eighth truth that people learn too late. Life is happening right now, not tomorrow, not one day, not later. Now, we think we have all the time in the world, until suddenly we don't. Every moment wasted is a moment that will never return. Life is not promised, so live intentionally while you still can. These lessons seem obvious only after life forces us to experience them firsthand. But if you can learn them now before life demands the lesson, you will live differently. You will waste less time, fear less, react less, and appreciate so much more. And that, right there, is where real wisdom begins. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more content to help you live a more intentional life. See you in the next one. Hey everyone, have you ever noticed that most of the fears we have live only inside our minds? It's a strange thing, isn't it? Our minds can cook up endless dangers, endless disasters, and all these negative outcomes, and we end up reacting more to what might happen than to what is actually in front of us. Just take a moment to think about it. How many opportunities have you avoided? How many conversations did you never start? How many dreams have you postponed because of fears that never even became real? Our mind builds these terrifying scenarios, and we treat them like they're facts. But the truth is much simpler. Most of the suffering we go through is created by our own thoughts, not by life itself. Fear isn't always a signal that something terrible is happening. Most of the time, it's just a story your mind has created. A story you've agreed to believe. Now, fear does have a purpose. It's trying to protect you. But the problem starts when your mind starts protecting you from things that won't even exist. You fear rejection before anyone has a chance to reject you. You fear failure before you even try. You fear judgment before anyone even opens their mouth. This is how fear builds a prison around you. You end up sitting inside your own limits while life just keeps happening outside those walls. The things you're afraid of aren't the real danger. The real danger is never discovering what you're truly capable of because you surrendered to imaginary threats. Take a look around. The people who achieve amazing things aren't fearless. They just refuse to let fear call the shots. They feel it, sure, but they move forward anyway. Every meaningful action you take requires courage, and courage isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing to act despite feeling that fear. If you wait until your fear disappears completely, you'll spend your entire life waiting. If you wait until you feel 100% ready, you'll miss every single door that life opens for you. Fear whispers lies, but you always have a choice whether to listen. The moment you decide to treat fear as just another thought, not a command, you start to take your power back. Ask yourself, how many times have you worried sick about something, only to look back and realize it never happened? All that worry, all that stress, all that emotional exhaustion, for nothing. The moments you lost to worry were real, but the threat you imagined was not. Your mind can create storms that the world never asked you to walk through. And every time you feed that fear with your attention, you make it stronger. You reinforce the belief that danger is everywhere. Fear becomes your master not because it's strong, but because you obey it without question. When you start to challenge it, its voice gets weaker. Life becomes so much simpler when you stop reacting to every single fearful thought. Instead, try to look at fear like a cloud passing in the sky. It appears, it moves, and then it fades. You don't have to follow it. So instead of asking, what could go wrong? Start asking, what could go right? Instead of imagining yourself failing, imagine yourself just trying. You might discover that the world is far less frightening than you thought, and a lot more welcoming than you ever believed. Your life grows in direct proportion to your willingness to step beyond your fear. The more you face, the more you expand. The more you avoid, the smaller you become inside your own story. Remember, fear is just a thought, and thoughts are not commands. You always have the power to choose which thoughts guide your life. When you stop treating fear as the absolute truth, you step into a new version of yourself, one that moves, attempts, learns, grows, and truly experiences life instead of just hiding from it. Real strength isn't about never feeling fear. Real strength is deciding that fear will not stop you from living. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content to help you live your best life. See you in the next one. Have you ever felt that rush of power when you get angry? It feels like strength, doesn't it? But what if I told you that anger is actually a profound form of weakness? In that moment of fury, it's not you who's in control. Your clarity is gone, and you've just handed your emotional remote control to someone else. Think about it. When someone provokes you and you instantly explode, what does that prove? It proves they have the power to dictate your internal state. Anger might wear the mask of strength, but underneath, it est. The sign of a person who has allowed the outside world to completely dominate their inner world. Every time you lose your cool, you give away a piece of yourself. Many people believe anger is a shield. They think it protects them, makes them look strong, or earns them respect. But the truth is, anger is a poison. It clouds your judgment, shatters your relationships, and ravages your health far more than any external situation ever could. Most of the things that trigger our anger are temporary, just fleeting moments. Yet, our emotional reaction can leave permanent scars. Just think back to a time when anger made you say something you didn't mean, or do something you later regretted. The trigger is long gone, but the damage remains. Relationships that took years to build can be destroyed by a few words spoken in a few seconds of rage. And afterward, when the fire cools, you're left looking at the ashes, realizing the situation never deserved that much of your energy. The world will always be full of irritations, misunderstandings, and provocations. You can't control that, but you can control your response. True peace isn't found by trying to manage every person and event around you. It's found by mastering what happens inside you. So why do we react with anger? Usually, it's because we feel threatened, disrespected, or ignored. But if you look closer, you'll find that most anger is just your ego wearing a disguise. Your ego screams, "How dare they?" Your ego needs to win the argument, to prove its superiority, to protect its fragile pride. But as long as your happiness depends on how others treat you, you'll forever live at the mercy of their moods and actions. The strongest person in the room is never the one shouting the loudest. It's the one who remains calm when everyone expects an explosion. That quiet response isn't weakness. It's wisdom and immense power. When you choose calm over chaos, you are actively protecting your inner peace. And protecting your peace doesn't mean you're a doormat. It doesn't mean you accept disrespect. It means you choose to respond with thoughtful intention instead of blind impulse. When you step back from the emotional heat, you start to see things with incredible clarity. You notice the real intentions behind people's actions. You see patterns you missed before, and you stop taking everything so personally. You begin to understand that most people are acting out of their own pain, their own struggles. It's rarely about you. This realization alone can free you from so much unnecessary suffering. Let's not forget the physical toll. When you get angry, your heart rate spikes, your muscles clench, and stress hormones flood your body. Your mind becomes a battlefield. Over time, this chronic state of alarm destroys your well-being. So many modern illnesses are directly linked to stress and anger. Is it really worth damaging your own health because someone cut you off in traffic or said something careless? Is your inner peace worth sacrificing for every minor annoyance that crosses your path? You will always encounter difficult, rude, and unpredictable people. That's a guarantee, but you don't have to absorb their negative energy. Keep your inner world pristine, a sanctuary separate from the chaos outside. Your peace is your greatest treasure. Guard it fiercely. See every provocation not as an attack on your dignity, but as a test of yourself. Each time you choose to remain calm, you strengthen your inner core. Each time you choose peace, you build a kind of resilience that anger could never offer. Anger feels like a wildfire, hot, fast, and destructive. But peace is like water, calm, steady, patient, and ultimately unstoppable. When you learn to value your inner balance more than a fleeting emotional reaction, you rise above situations instead of drowning in them. Master yourself, and no one and nothing will ever have power over you again. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content on building inner strength. Time is the one thing you spend every single day and can never get back. Yet, most of us live as if time were unlimited, as if life were guaranteed, and as if tomorrow were always promised. We chase money, we chase status, we chase things we think will make us feel successful, all while the most precious resource we have, time, quietly slips through our fingers. One day, you will realize that every hour spent cannot be returned. You can rebuild a career, you can earn back lost money, you can even recover from failures, but you can never, ever buy back the time you traded for things that didn't truly matter. Time is the real currency of life, and most people only understand this when they're older, looking back with regret. Think about it. People sacrifice precious moments with their family just to gain approval from strangers. They sacrifice their health for work, their relationships for accomplishments, and their inner peace for a carefully crafted image. We live in a world that glorifies productivity, but almost nobody teaches us how to value presence. Modern life pushes achievement but often ignores fulfillment. You might build immense wealth, only to realize later that you lost the very moments that would have meant more than any reward. Money can give you comfort, but time gives you meaning. And meaning is what the soul truly seeks. Every single day, life is asking you a silent question. Where will you spend your hours? Because whatever you give your time to, you are giving your life to. If you waste your days complaining, arguing, overthinking, or chasing someone else's approval, you are sacrificing the most valuable thing you have for things that will not matter in the end. Every day spent unhappy is a day of your life gone forever. Every day lived unconsciously is a chapter of your story, completely wasted. The real tragedy isn't that life ends, but that we often wait far too long to begin truly living. People always say, "I'll enjoy life later," believing that some magical day will appear when everything is finally perfect, but later never arrives. Later becomes next year becomes someday, and someday becomes never. The future is not promised. The present is the only thing you truly have. There are countless people who plan to live their lives someday, but never got the chance. The only time you are actually alive is right now, in tease. Momentum. Everything else is just a memory or a figment of your imagination, yet most people give all their energy to the past or the future, and completely forget to live now. When you finally learn to value your time, you stop wasting it on things that steal your energy. You stop arguing with people who don't want peace. You stop chasing after those who don't value your presence. You stop working endlessly just to impress others. You stop living for praise and start living with purpose. You begin to intentionally choose experiences, relationships, growth, and inner calm. You finally begin to live instead of merely exist. Remember that time isn't measured by clocks, but by moments. You can spend an hour sitting with someone you love and feel incredibly rich, or you can spend a whole year chasing something meaningless and feel completely empty. Real wealth isn't measured by what you earn, but by how you spend the time you are given. At the end of your life, you won't remember how much money you had in the bank. You will remember how you lived, who you loved, and how deeply you were present for it all. So, please, learn this lesson now. Your time is your life. Use it consciously. Protect it from being wasted. Respect it like the sacred gift it is. Because one day, you will look back and realize the immense value of what you once held in your hands. And by then, it will be gone. Thank you for watching. And if this resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more content that matters. Most of us spend a huge chunk of our lives trying to please other people, only to look back and realize we never truly lived for ourselves. This need for approval becomes a silent chain, one we don't even notice until years have already passed. Think about it. From the time we're kids, we're taught to seek praise, to be liked, to be accepted. This habit doesn't just disappear. It follows us right into adulthood. But here's the problem. Living according to what others think slowly kills your individuality. You end up shaping your entire personality, your goals, even your happiness around expectations that were never yours to begin with. The real tragedy is that by the time many people figure this out, they've already sacrificed their authenticity for an acceptance that, in the grand scheme of things, never really mattered. When you depend on the opinions of others, your inner peace becomes incredibly unstable. Every little disagreement feels like a personal attack. Every bit of criticism feels like a deep wound. And every judgment becomes a cage you lock yourself in. We're so afraid of being misunderstood that we hide who we really are. We're terrified of rejection, so we try to fit into places where we don't belong. We fear being different, so we try our best to look and act like everyone else. But the price for all this is losing yourself. The truth is simple. You cannot live a true, authentic life if you're constantly trying to satisfy the world around you. And here's the irony. No matter what you do, someone is going to judge you anyway. People judge you when you succeed, and they judge you when you fail. They judge you when you speak up and when you stay silent. They judge you for following your own path and for following theirs. Judgment is a constant, so why would you build your life around it? What other people think about you is a reflection of their own mind, not your identity. Trying to fix someone's opinion of you is like trying to control the weather. It's impossible, and the only thing you'll lose in the process is your time and your peace. The moment you stop caring about outside opinions is the moment you start to breathe differently. Suddenly, your decisions become clearer. You start choosing things based on your own values, not for validation. You begin to listen to your own inner voice instead of all the noise from everyone else. You stop apologizing for being who you are. The more authentic you become, the more peace you feel inside. Being authentic isn't about being rebellious. It's simply about choosing your own truth over someone else's approval. A lot of people don't realize until it's too late that validation is a trap. The world tries to convince you that you need admiration, applause, and recognition. But these are just temporary forms of approval. They don't bring lasting fulfillment. Validation is like a drug. You need more and more each time. And when you don't get it, you feel empty. The more you chase it, the more dependent you become. But when your self-worth comes from within, you stop needing anyone's permission to simply exist. The greatest freedom you'll ever experience comes when you detach your happiness from what other people think. You stop performing. You stop pretending. You stop competing with others and comparing your life to theirs. And in that space, you begin living with intention, with purpose, and with you realize that approval is something people give you, but self-worth is something you must give yourself. So I want you to ask yourself this. Whose life are you living? Are your dreams truly your own? Or were they handed to you by someone else? Are your choices based on what's in your heart? Or are they based on the fear of judgment? If you don't answer these questions now, time will eventually answer them for you, and that answer might be painful. Most regrets in life aren't about the chances we took. They're about the chances we never dared to take because someone else's opinion felt more powerful than our own voice. In the end, Everyone learns that opinions don't last. People forget their judgments, and nothing was ever worth sacrificing your true self for. You came into this world as an original. Don't leave it as a copy. Live your truth, even if no one else understands it. It is so much better to be disliked for being real than to be admired for being someone you are not. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content like this. Why has happiness become so complicated? It's because we keep looking for it in places where it has never lived. Modern life teaches us that happiness is something we achieve when we collect enough things, gain enough status, or reach a certain lifestyle. We're told that fulfillment comes after success, after recognition, after material comfort. But the truth is, happiness doesn't wait at the end of the journey. It exists in the simple ways we live every day. People chase possessions, believing that each new thing will add joy, but once the excitement fades, they feel exactly the same as before. Nothing external can permanently fill an internal space. Most of the peace you are searching for already exists within you, but your attention is constantly pulled outward. Look at your life and see how much time you spend wanting more and more money, more approval, more things, more attention. The mind believes that happiness is somewhere outside, so it keeps you running endlessly. But once you finally get what you wanted, a new desire appears. This is a cycle without an end. The more you chase, the further happiness feels. Real peace begins when you stop chasing and start appreciating. Simple things, quiet mornings, meaningful conversations, nature, gratitude, time with loved ones, ease, are the real sources of happiness. Notice that none of them require wealth or status. True happiness rarely costs anything. The more simple your needs, the more peaceful your life becomes. We complicate things by expecting too much from the world and too little from ourselves. Inner contentment doesn't require a perfect life. It requires a peaceful mindset. People often say they want peace, but their lifestyle is built around endless noise. They constantly compare themselves with others, scroll through social media, and consume distractions that make them feel inadequate. Comparison destroys happiness because it shifts your focus from appreciation to dissatisfaction. The moment you compare your life with someone else's, you forget what you already have. Gratitude cannot exist in the same space as envy. You can have everything and still feel unhappy if your mind keeps looking at what others have. Simplicity is powerful because it removes what is unnecessary. The more you simplify, the clearer life becomes. You don't need to own much to feel rich. You only need to feel grateful. A peaceful house, a healthy body, a calm mind, a loving family. The value of these things cannot be measured. Many people only realize their importance when they lose them. When things are gone, they suddenly wish they had appreciated them more when they were present. Happiness is built on awareness, not achievement. There are people living seemingly ordinary lives who feel deeply fulfilled, and there are people who appear successful yet feel empty inside. Happiness is not about how much you have. It is about how deeply you appreciate what you already possess. If you always depend on something external to feel good, you will always live in fear of losing it. But if your happiness comes from within, no one can take it away from you. So, learn to slow down. Drink your tea slowly. Look at the sky more often. Listen to people with presence. Enjoy moments without needing to capture them. Learn to be where your feet are. Life is happening now, not somewhere else. The world tries to distract you from the simple things, because simplicity doesn't generate profit, but your heart knows the truth. Happiness is not complicated, your expectations are. When you learn to want less, you begin to feel more. When you stop chasing, you start living. Simplicity reveals the richness that was always there. Thank you for watching. Life is moving with or without your attention, and most of us don't realize this until a huge part of our journey is already behind us. We postpone everything meaningful, pushing it to tomorrow, believing we have an infinite supply of time. We tell ourselves, we'll start later, change later, appreciate later, live later. But later is just a word, not a guarantee. The hard truth is, life doesn't wait for us to feel ready. It keeps going, whether we're paying attention or not. Every sunrise is a reminder that time is marching forward, and every sunset whispers that another day has slipped away forever. Yet, we act as if life is some kind of project we can start whenever we want. So many people reach a certain age, look back, and realize how many moments they simply ignored. They didn't appreciate their youth while they had it. They didn't value people until they were gone. They didn't care for their body until it grew weak. They didn't express love until the weight of regret became heavier than pride. It's only when time is gone that they finally understand what truly mattered. It's easy to forget that this very moment is a chapter in your life story. The choices you make today are shaping the days ahead. What you do right now will become your past, and your past will become your memory. If those memories are filled with neglect, distraction, and delay, then regret is almost inevitable. We often think we need big changes, huge achievements, and grand events to feel alive. But life is built from ordinary days, the small conversations, the daily habits, the quiet evenings, the simple mornings. All of these are what create your true life experience. If you only wait for special moments, you'll end up ignoring the vast majority of your existence. Life isn't something that happens every now and then. It's happening constantly. Every single second is part of your story, and there are no rewrites. One of the greatest illusions we live with is believing that we have time. You never know how many days are left. None of us do. And this truth shouldn't make you fearful. It should make you more present, more appreciative, more aware of how precious each day truly is. When you truly understand this, you stop wasting time on pointless arguments, grudges, comparisons, and negativity. You start prioritizing peace, presence, and meaningful relationships. You begin to choose what actually matters over what only seems important. And slowly, life starts to feel fuller, richer, and more real. Some people think living in the present means forgetting the future, but true presence actually improves your future. When you live consciously, you make wiser choices. When you appreciate the moment, you cultivate gratitude, which strengthens your happiness. When you are fully present in your conversations, you form deeper, more genuine connections. Living in the present isn't about ignoring the future. It's about building a better one moment at a time. Ask yourself this: what will matter to you at the end of your life? Will it be the success you chased or the people you loved? Will it be the list of achievements or the collection of moments? Will it be the material things you owned or the memories you created? Life has a way of teaching us too late that love, presence, and awareness are priceless. Don't wait for time to teach you what you can understand right now. So take a deep breath. Look around you. Notice what you have. Life is happening right before your eyes. Appreciate the small things. Forgive quickly. Speak kindly. Express gratitude. And most importantly, live today while it's still here. Because the most painful words anyone can say at the end are not "I failed," but "I didn't live." Thanks for watching. If this message resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content on living a more conscious life. See you in the next one.